What's up everybody, SuperDorks fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Huge thanks to Brogan for offering this epic car to review for you guys today. So about the Challenger Hellcat, well, you all already know about this. I mean, this is like the #1 hyped up car on the internet, and for good reason. I mean, 65,000 bucks basically for 707 horsepower, which is a number you can't get from a dealer outside of the supercars. And so it's just insane, the package that Dodge has offered here. And I think this is the epitome of this golden era we're living in with the horsepower wars. And this is the top dog right now. And it's just epic, especially in this black color. I mean, it looks so menacing from every single angle. There's just, I mean, these aggressive creases in the hood here on the Hellcat, and that huge chin splitter. You have the intake there next to the headlight, which is awesome. And, you know, but it's still subtle in some ways. You only have this little Hellcat badge on the side, and that's it. It's not shouty, and especially in black, it's very discreet. But those who know this is a serious car, and I just think it did an awesome job on the styling.
Right, for the interior of the Hellcat, it is awesome and feels very special just getting in it. So first things first, sitting down in these seats, very comfortable. They're fairly wide bolsters, but I mean, especially the torso up here is pretty close and nice and grippy, so I think it fits most body types really well. And they're very aggressive, and especially this caramel colored leather with the black, you know, on the outside contrasts so well. Next is the steering wheel in the Hellcat, which is awesome, perfectly sculpted. So you have these somewhat flat sides to it, and then you have the beefy 10 and 2 notches, and the you know, stitching is very pronounced, and you have the flat bottom here, and just a really cool looking wheel. You have these paddles that come up higher than the standard Challengers, and that's nice to have, but they're just you know, they feel nice and metallic and very high quality. Next is the gauges in the Challenger here, which are gorgeous. So you have you know, these retro but very exciting looking gauges with the red background, very racy, and I love the way that they're styled. They're very fun looking, and you know, the speedometer goes up to 200, which is always exciting to look at. And you have a very nice color screen there in the middle that has all kinds of cool information, including a boost gauge, which is very handy to have. And you also have a lot of other cool information there to you know, have. And you have your standard same Chrysler stuff that you normally will get in all the other products. And speaking of, you know, familiar things for those that are familiar with Chrysler products, coming along to the center of the dashboard here, you have the great 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, which has the navigation and all that kind of stuff. And I've gone through this in my other, you know, the review of the Chrysler 200 and the Dodge Dart and stuff like that. So this should all be familiar with for those of you that have watched my other videos. But for those of you who haven't, you can go check that out. I'm not going to spend too much time here because it's pretty standard, but it's really great. I mean, high resolution graphics, very easy to use. It's regarded as one of the best in the industry. You have, for the Hellcats here, you have the special drive modes there where you can customize everything, including the horsepower. You can, you know, make it lower horsepower. You can have the full 707, and you know, it's very nice to be able to customize the whole driving experience right there. Coming down to, you know, the Gearshift area here, it's very clean and simple, which I really love. You know, you just have your climate controls, very nice and easy. You have your 2 knobs for volume and tune, and then you have a couple fun buttons here, including an SRT button, which is like a sport button. You have a launch control button, which is awesome that I even have that, and then you have your parking sensors and traction control off and stuff. But very straightforward, just a very nice interior. It's cleanly executed and really well done. Shifter's very cool too as well. I love the grip that you can get on it here, and a little cubby there. And speaking of cubbies, there's a good amount of them here in this car. So you have a little cubby behind the back part of the door here. You also have a bottle holder up here in the front, which is nice to have. And then you have this little cubby, like I said, right next to the shifter here. You have your 2 cup holders, and then you have this center console, which is nicely padded, by the way. And then you open it up, and you know, you have an SD card slide, you have a USB jack, an auxiliary jack, and a power outlet. So great to have all that in there, and it's a good depth. You can fit a good amount of things in there. Backseat space in the Challenger is pretty tight, like any of the other muscle cars. Not a family hauler or anything like that, of course, but for a pinch, you know, you can put someone back there. I wouldn't do it on a regular basis, but you know, like I said, it's definitely usable. Trunk space in the Challenger is actually very generously spaced. Compared to the other muscle cars, I would say this is probably the biggest of them, and it's just nice and deep, which is rare in this segment. All right, so let's start off and go for a drive. The Hellcat has 2 keys actually. The red one is the one that gives you the full 700 horsepower and looks very cool. So yeah, it's obviously keyless start this. You just leave that wherever, hit the start button, and it starts right up. It's crazy. So first thing, if you've never driven a Challenger before, I addressed this a couple years ago when I reviewed a V6 Challenger, the only other one I've ever reviewed. It's a large car, and you feel it, you know it. The second that you start driving, it's a big car, and so, you know, with big cars comes, you know, it's a little bit more precarious, you know, in tight spaces and stuff, but you get used to it, you know, after a while. You just have to kind of get used to what you're working with, and then it's totally fine. But, you know, this road isn't too bumpy. We have, you know, this customizable suspension, so you can have it in, you know, track mode, sport mode, or street, so you can have it as firm or as soft as you like. And so I think it'll cater to everyone, whether you want a smooth ride or a rough ride. Right now, I mean, it's totally plush and comfortable, and you know, I think you could daily drive this easily. Alright, so let's turn onto this straight road first and see how it does. And here we go. I short shifted because it just went sideways. Not crazy. It's not like totally unable to be handled, but it's just upshifted just because it's 707 horsepower. That's not something you abuse or mess with. It's to be respected, and it's still, I mean, it's quick. So I'll get into it again here a little bit. This is a little bit more of a rolling thing. We'll go down a gear, and let's go again. Yeah. Okay, so here's how you can kind of explain it. If you ever have ridden a roller coaster that, you know, like launches you from a stop, that's how this feels. The G-forces, I think the last time I felt this much G-forces was the last time I was in a car 700 horsepower. I rode an Aventador once, and that's how it felt. It's the same amount. It puts the power down really well. So yes, you are getting Aventador acceleration for 65 grand. Dodge, you are my hero. This is awesome. So anyway, it sounds amazing too, by the way. That's something that's like an afterthought in this car, because the G-forces just totally take over your senses, and that's all that you're like thinking about and processing. But yeah, that can get addictive, and that, oh man, I can see why there's so much hype about these. Another quick little acceleration. Do second gear this time. Wheel spin, and it just pulls no matter what. Man. I think someone actually said you could start one of these in like 5th gear because there's just so much torque. So yeah, the specs, I keep neglecting that. It's 707 horsepower, as you all know. It also has 650 pound-feet of torque, which is also very generous of Dodge. And yeah, it's obviously the Hemi V8 engine. It's got this massive supercharger on it, and it's just one heck of a combination. Now, I'm going around a roundabout here, which obviously isn't pushing the car to its limits or anything, but you can feel the weight even in there. So, you know, we're dealing with a car that weighs over 4,400 pounds, so this is no lightweight, but obviously no one cares because it's 707 horsepower. At any point in this review, if you're like, oh, I don't know if that sounds good, 707 horsepower, end of discussion. That shuts up any haters or anyone that has any doubts. 707 horsepower for 65 grand. Everyone's sold. If I had 65 grand, I'd probably own one of these too. Anyway, just cruising though, without going absolutely mental, it's very nice. It's very relaxed. You know, this exhaust, it does sound really good, but it's not intrusive. You know, like I'm now in 4th gear, and it's quiet, it's refined. Like I said, this is totally a car you can daily drive, live with, of course. It's very plush. You know, I have these nice heated and cooled seats. You have a heated steering wheel, leather. It's got everything you want. So it's really an awesome all-around car. And the power, though, the power is just too much fun. Another little acceleration here. This time we'll do it in 3rd. Still was squirming a little bit, but that got a little more planted that time. But oh man, so much fun. I'm gonna give 1st gear another try here because I was doing 2nd and 3rd before. So here's 1st. I'm gonna roll into it though. I'm not just gonna stab it. Oh my god! Oh yeah! Oh man, makes me giddy. Tires at once a month. I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'm here for my tire change again, because it would just be constantly spinning. This thing wants to just spin all the time, which is fun. I mean, this is what I love about cars like this that have this drama in theater with the sound and the spinning of the tires, rear-wheel drive antics and everything. It's just so much fun. And yeah, it's just what a car. And I haven't even got it on a back road yet. Just straight away, I'm already sold. It's that good. The power convinces me very easily. One other thing that I can mention, I've just been using these paddles and it's a very natural feeling. They shift very quickly. It does exactly what I'm asking it to. It's not slow in any way. You know, it's not like some crazy dual clutch, but you don't need it. I think it really does such a good job that I'm not sitting here wanting it to shift faster or anything. It's just as good as I would want it to be. I mean, yeah, you can see I'm just shifting and bam, 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 instant. I mean, that's as good as it gets for an automatic. That's awesome. It's just got that old American muscle sound to it too. You know, there's other V8s and other muscle cars and other cars in general, and this just has like an old school sound, and it's kind of unique because it's a very unique kind of throaty, burbly kind of sound. It's just drips with attitude. Everything about this car, especially in black, just drips with attitude. It's so funny. Alright, so there's not too many super windy roads around here, but I'll take around a few curves here just to get a feel for how the body roll and the handling is. Not like anyone really cares, right? 707 horsepower, remember. But alright, it handles itself pretty good. I mean, there's a little bit of body roll there. This is a big car, like I said. You feel that way a little bit. I mean, yes, it's not going to be as good as some of the other more aggressive sports cars and stuff, but for what it is, it does a really good job. It's amazing though, this car, you know, you would think with this much horsepower it would have super wide tires. It's only 275s all around. I thought maybe it'd be like, you know, bigger in the back or something, but only 275s. And the owner actually informed me of something crazy I didn't know, and that is that it's actually, these cars come standard with all-season tires. I don't know who said, hey, let's make that the standard equipment for the Hellcat, but yes, so you actually have to option summer tires on a Hellcat, and they're still only 275 wide. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason why there's so many tail-happy antics, which is awesome. I think that's the best philosophy. It's like the BRZ philosophy, the skinniest tires possible, tons of power, and you have tons of fun. So I love that. And yeah, but I mean, going around these corners here, I mean, they're nothing too intense, but it handles it with ease. And again, you're not buying a Challenger because you want to rip up a back road that's super tight and technical. You do it for the power. So in that, I think it's you know, it's totally fine. It's good enough on the back roads for what you need it for. And yeah, the power and the acceleration is just definitely the best part. You can hear that whine of that supercharger. It's not as loud as I was expecting it to be actually, but it is still pretty loud, and it's just great. I mean, that exhaust though is so dominating that that's really the biggest thing you hear, and it just pulls and pulls. And obviously a car you could very easily lose your license in, very, very easily. So you definitely have to exercise lots of restraint. If you don't have a lot of self-control, I would say it's probably not the best car for you. Also, while in automatic mode, it really just downshifts right away. It's very immediate, so even if you don't want to play with the paddles, it kind of is pretty telepathic with what you want to do with it, and it'll give you the power instantly. I mean, you could pull from any gear anyway, you don't even need to downshift, but it still does just because it wants to have fun. So anyway, now that I'm extremely jealous and wanting one of these very badly, I'd like to give a huge thanks to the owner, Brogan, again, for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. I know so many of you have been begging for a Hellcat, and I've been dying to do one too, so it's really an honor and just such a privilege to be able to review this car, because, you know, who knows how much longer with, you know, the new regulations being put in place, how much longer these will actually be around. How much longer can we actually continue to offer 700 horsepower supercharged V8 cars with the current, you know, way things are going, and with turbocharging and downsizing of engines? This is really probably the last of a dying breed here, sadly. So you know, I really just wanted to definitely review one of these, but just really cherish this moment we're living in where we have this kind of stuff. It's extremely amazing, and we should all feel very fortunate to live in the times we are with cars like this. And I think this is definitely going to go down in history as one of the most epic cars of our times here. And so I'm just overwhelmed that I'm able to drive it here and do this review for you guys. So let me know what you think about the Hellcat. I'm sure there's not going to be too many haters, but let me know what you think about the Hellcat here. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.